And welcome to Entrepreneur Minds Speak. I'm Lauren, and I own a branding and packaging agency called Creme de Mint. And this is...
Hi, my name is Natalie. I own a web development company based in Tampa, Florida.
And today we are going to be talking about AI, specifically Midjourney, ChatGPT, Jasper, Dall-E. So we're just going to talk about a bunch of different things about this subject. We don't know a ton, but we have been diving into it, trying to learn about it as business owners. We feel like this is a very important time and very important for us to be diving into this, all of this like new technology before it like takes off and we're left trying to catch up. We're diving into it now, and we wanted to share with you what we've learned so far and how we're thinking about applying it to our business, as well as like what we're thinking the future might hold for our businesses.
Okay, so why don't we start with the text-based stuff? So we could talk about ChatGPT and then also Jasper you've been playing around with. We'll kind of compare them and see what we've been able to use them for and where we think they're gonna, go and how they can help us.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Jasper, today I was playing around with creating a blog post because that was the first thing I was thinking, like, how could I create a blog post with this and how good is it? So I put in how to create a memorable tagline, and I got a few paragraphs. It was, it wasn't bad. And then I tried it again and I got a few more paragraphs, a little bit different. I asked it to try it again. And I can show a little bit how that process went. So this is what Jasper looks like. And what I did is I put in, it says I can put in like, I think it's 600 characters, and I copy and pasted another article, just a part of another article, just to kind of get the idea of the content. And then I put the voice and tone, and I actually said that I wanted it to be for entrepreneurs and business owners, so that the tone would be specifically for those folks.
Wow.
The other one that I did earlier, I didn't have like this little spot where it said the keyword. When you first log into this, it looks a little bit different than it looks right now. So that part was a little bit strange. So let's say the keyword is creating a tagline. And what I did is I just went and I looked up, creating a tagline for my business. And I grabbed like an article just to kind of get an idea of like what I was thinking about.
Wow.
See how it would create it. So that's 600 right there. So I went ahead and did that, and then compose. No, there it goes. I also tried it through their chat function. So here I asked like create a list of 10 blog post titles about how to create a brand tagline. It came up with these ones. And then I said, okay, use this SEO keyword. So I was trying to do it this way. And it doesn't really do it that successfully, but some of the content here was interesting, like talking about the voice and tone, talking about syntax, connotations, power words. All of this seemed pretty good. And then I also was asking like create a list of the most liked taglines.
I love that.
Most recalled taglines. That was kind of interesting. And then I actually took this from like another post and I said, okay, can you rewrite the following? And then it came back with, a synopsis, and I was able to take that and put it into another document. So I ended up kind of putting together all the different ones that I tried into a blog post. So this is essentially 3 or 4 different Jasper chats or blog posts to create this. Is it really worth my time to, I probably spent an hour creating this. So there's like little like syntax errors throughout it that I noticed. It's not quite there yet. It does give you the ideas, and it does give you, new content, like it's original content. So that part is good. But like for SEO, like you have to fit in the keywords, and
Oh yeah.
you kind of have to work it in yourself, it seems like.
I almost feel like that's better. Like I almost would hope that, and I feel like it's just going to get better and better, and you're not even going to notice whether it was a human or an AI that wrote something. But I almost feel, because that's how I experienced it as well. When I was using ChatGPT, I was like amazed at the results, just the fact that it could do it in such speed, came up with relevant points. And I even forget what I was writing about, but I was just formulating different things and seeing it, what it would put out if I asked it to do certain prompts. And it would write an entire 1,000-word article in about a minute. And I had to go through it and change things, and similarly change the wording was sometimes a little off, and the grammar was a little off here and there, but the basic outline was incredible. And I almost feel like that little bit of not being perfect is almost good, because it still requires that human intervention. And it still requires us to actually put thought into something, so it can be more used as a way to leverage your time in certain ways. Like certain research things might be a little bit faster in GPT or other AI programs versus looking in Google. Being able to rewrite stuff I found really helpful, like where I had written something a little bit and then I would ask it to improve it. I'm ESL, English is a second language for me, first language being Dutch. Having something where I can be like, can you just make this email sound better or something like that? And it actually feels like it sounds more like how I speak than how I write, because I find myself sometimes a little bit lagging in the writing department. So I found that very amazing. So it might be kind of good that, you're still having to piece different things together to be able to put your own input in it a little bit more.
How is this going to change like our job? We have, Jasper, which can write, and then we have Midjourney, which can create like these beautiful designs, which we're going to show you guys in a little bit. But it's, where's this technology going to go in a few years? And that's, that's something that we definitely want to think about, and talk about and imagine. And I was having a conversation with somebody else earlier today, and what we were thinking about is like the strategy still needs to be there.
Yes.
For the branding, for the businesses, for, just that strategy piece is just going to become that much more important. So I think, thinking about it in that way might be more helpful for people that are feeling a bit scared that this is going to take over and we're not going to have jobs. So
Absolutely. I think it's like any piece of technology. When you enter in a new piece of technology, it's a big fear of like, what is this going to take? What jobs are going to be lost because of this? And I think that it is overall a leverage point of like, how do we utilize this technology to enhance human experience overall as a species, basically. But also, how can we be smart to make sure that those people that may be displaced from a new technology, how do we embrace them and make sure that they're still taken care of? And who knows, maybe the fact that AI exists, it will result in new opportunities elsewhere that we're not even thinking with, that will require more, human input as well. So it's definitely kind of a shuffle and something to think about. And I think it's equally as exciting as worrying, but it's definitely something new and something I think everyone should be aware of.
Yeah. So I first kind of started diving into this in December, so right around the holidays. And I was looking at Midjourney. I started like looking at ChatGPT, and I kind of panicked. I was like, oh my gosh, like I could see fast forward, like, okay, where am I going to be in like 3 to 5 years? Now I'm just trying to step back, really get a better understanding of how the technology works and how we can integrate it into what we're already doing. What about ChatGPT? What other things have you tried with it?
I was trying out various different code snippets, seeing what it would give me. I even asked it to build me a website. I just prompted it, like, build me a website for a restaurant, just to see what would come out. When I got the outputs, I definitely didn't feel so worried about job security. And that was mainly because of, when you're producing a product, you are thinking with a lot of different aspects depending on the client. So if it's e-commerce, for example, I'm thinking with, certain colors, certain fonts, as well as the, UX and UI, how are customers going to come? How are we going to make sure that they understand the product and eventually buy it? These are all thoughts that need to be put into an end product. And when I started inputting various prompts into ChatGPT to create code and see what it would come out with in regards to a website or anything, I realized that it really just is a program. Like, it doesn't have that creative side as far as the coding goes, that's going to produce a result that someone's just going to be able to copy and paste and use. It's going to take that human thoughts to come up with it. Just like you were talking about the strategy is going to be there. There's strategy in every little decision we make, even in the padding of the buttons, like every little decision that we make. And as a designer working with developers all the time, like, you have to get something pixel perfect exactly. And that developer has to understand, okay, this is 32 pixels over here and 8 pixels on the top. And they need to be able to translate that into a working design, or, design and development. ChatGPT is not going to do that. You have to specify so much if you want to get an exact result. It doesn't have any creative input. It really is basically a robot. It is, you input certain things and you get out certain things. And those things that you're going to get out are going to be the most bare level of your input. Now, that is in regards to ChatGPT and in regards to coding, because that in itself is like, you get out what you put in, and that's how coding is just inherently. Where I was really impressed, an AI system that didn't behave this way was Midjourney. And I know you played around with that a lot too.
Before we jump to that topic, I just wanted to say one more thing about ChatGPT. I like the part that you said where, like, it's the creativity piece that's missing. That is exactly the experience I had. I had a friend who was like playing on ChatGPT, and I was next to him, and he was like, okay, create a TV script, and I want it to be 30 minutes long, and I want it to be about this subject. And he he described what he wanted it to be, and it started creating this dialogue, but the dialogue was like kind of simplistic. It didn't really think about how, okay, now, they would be for like driving in a car, and then they suddenly be somewhere else, and then they suddenly be somewhere else. It reminded me of a child telling a story. And so I felt like that part was it's just not quite developed yet. And I think it's going to get there, but right now that's where it's at. And so it's more of like a place to kind of play around and try different things. And I'm seeing all sorts of people doing some fun things. But moving on to Midjourney, that is the tool that kind of blew me away. Now, I'd heard artists had been talking about it and feeling concerned about it. There's an Instagrammer that I follow who he has like all of these beautiful AI renderings, and he didn't mention like specifically like these are AI, and I think people, I know that it is because he does do the hashtags, but he doesn't like mention it in the comments. And so, and a lot of people didn't really realize that these are these are AIs. There's also someone who I follow. It's called Packaging AI on LinkedIn,
Ah.
and they have like some of the best images
Oh
that they've
my
taken
God.
from Midjourney and posted in their feed. So this
That's
is super fun to
hilarious.
watch, like all the really cool stuff that people are doing, that people are trying.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I
That
know.
is amazing.
It is. It's incredible. So, I think this has only been around like a couple of months. Um, and it's just, I mean, the stuff that people are creating is incredible.
Wow.
And it's not people that are creating it, but it is people that are creating because they're the ones inputting it. And see,
Right.
this is what they put. That was what they used for their input.
That is amazing.
Which is cool that some people are starting to share their inputs. I don't know why, but it seemed like it was a secret for some. They didn't want other people to be able to create what they were able to figure out. But I think, as time goes on, it's going to become easier and easier to do it. We'll have to look at some of the ones. I'd love to show the one that I created. This is one of the ones that I created. And I don't even know if I should say I created, like like I inputted the words and then the words
Yes.
created this.
Wow.
It was award-winning packaging design, product photography, creme de menthe. I don't remember what the rest of it is. But it created these 4
Oh, that is so cool.
images. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I took these 4 images and I tried a few iterations and I
Yeah.
ended up here. And this
I
was
love that.
the version. Yeah, it looks really pretty.
Yeah, it looks expensive.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
And then this was another version.
I
And
love how it just puts a name on there. Like it
yeah,
just makes up a brand.
it does. It does. Now, sometimes the letters kind of get like smushed together and it looks a little bit strange. That's how I'm able to identify which ones are Midjourney now. I'm like, oh yeah, that's your type. Here's showing like what I actually inputted into the Midjourney bot.
Oh,
So wedding
cool.
design, product photography, gin, vanilla bottle with debossed Art Nouveau design. Yeah,
Wow.
that was this actually, it was interesting because I had it with creme de menthe and then somebody else came along and that's the thing in Midjourney, anybody can just take what, the exact formula that you use and they can create their own version. So that's what this person ended up doing. They ended up creating their own version,
Wow.
taking what I had written and then putting in, gin a la vanilla bottle and got a completely different result that was also really nice.
You have to get used to the layout of Discord and Midjourney. When I first did it, I was like, where did my stuff go? Like, because there was like 100 new prompts and I had to like find what I was making.
Absolutely. And I was thinking about showing kind of what that looks like.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen real quick again. So this is what Midjourney looks like, or this is what Discord looks like with Midjourney inside of it. And so we have, these are all the live prompts that people are creating right now. And you know what they are. So you can just take it and then create your own version.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild. There's some packaging design right there.
Wow. Why don't you try something on screen?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do that. So image prompt, and then let's do award-winning packaging design, product photography. How about like a strawberry jam?
Oh, yeah.
Strawberry jam bottle. It helps to like actually, write some of the things like product photography,
Yeah.
how you're going to catch the light.
That's great.
Like all of that kind of stuff really makes a difference. And So let's try it. Oh, here it is. It's
Oh,
creating it.
oh my God, that's a very narrow top for jam.
Yeah, it's very interesting what it comes up with. Sometimes it's a little unexpected.
Yep.
And
It's
sometimes
like got some
really,
Heinz bottle vibes going on.
it does. If we want to look at it,
So cool.
you can open it up in the browser,
Oh yeah.
and that's how it looks.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing that a robot basically created this.
Yeah, in like 2 minutes.
Wow.
Um,
And the interesting thing that I wonder, and I know that this is kind of where artists have had a little bit of beef with, is where is this coming from? You know, it's scouring many, many millions of images.
Right.
What images and what information from those images is it taking? And what percentage of that is, you know, from a real artist that is actually being used? That's the
Right.
controversy a little bit.
Yeah, and I think yeah, we're good. The verdict is still out on all of that. I mean, that's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, you know, even us as designers, like we're influenced by everything around us.
I love all these things people are creating. It's so cool
Yeah,
to see,
it's
actually.
so fun to see
Yeah.
them. This is the revised one. So it
Wow.
created iteration of the one that we were just looking at. So you can see that the detail is a little bit different in each
Yeah.
one of them.
Whatever it is one fancy jam.
I know that's like a $60 thing of jam.
Well, the quality of the renditions is what really blows me away. Like
Yeah.
it's actually like even the cat that was just on the screen, like it does whatever style you ask so well,
It
as
does.
if an artist did it. Like a human
Right.
artist could have created it in that at that level of quality. And that's what really stood out to me in Midjourney. And it's almost like a creative input, you know, like, you know, it's just gathering data from millions of pictures, but it seems to have a creativity about how it's putting them together. And that's what really is amazing to me about Midjourney.
This was another one that I did or that I tried, a photorealistic award-winning luxury vanilla beauty product with high-end Art Nouveau lettering
Wow.
label. And this is what it came up with on the first go.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is actually amazing. I mean, it's kind of also cool when you're creating potentially you know, comps for clients, when you just want to go through some styles and like
Right.
be like, how do you think of this style? How do you think of this style? It's kind of nice to be able to generate your own rather than just referring to other items that are out there.
Yeah, I definitely I agree with you. And I feel like there's a place for like mood boards
Yeah.
in Midjourney. And that was something I wanted to try. I haven't tried it yet, but like, what if I said, okay, these are the qualities that I want the brand to have, and, you know, cite some of the, you know, the types of products and say, okay, like I would like a mood board that has this look and feel and similar to these type of products, and see what it comes up with.
I can show you if you'd like. When I was looking in Midjourney, I was inspired by a few of the creators in there because it looked like someone was making patterns. And I was like, oh my God, as you know, being in design, sometimes we need to create patterns for our clients for various different things, right? For their brands or for their products. And so I was like, oh my God, if I can make a recurring pattern in Midjourney, how fun would that be, right? And so I started playing around with it and I came up with some really cool designs. And then I was like, I wonder how other products would look at this same prompt. And what I'm going to show you, it just was eye-opening to me, again, back to that creativity point on how Midjourney actually seems to be able to create something beautiful versus the other AIs that was, I mean, it's not bad, but it doesn't have the same level of aesthetic, I felt. So I'll show you and then you'll see what I mean. So this is the first one. This one is called Dream, and this is just a floral pattern that I made. And I had the exact same input on all three things. Basically just a symmetrical design with a teal background and orange flowers. So this was made by Dream. This was the only thing that it spit out. Still impressive that it was made by not a human at all, but that's what it made. Then Dall-E is the first interaction I ever had with AI. This is months ago, and I was very excited about it, but it is not as refined as Midjourney, that's for sure. So here, I'll show you that here. I mean, it's still not bad. It kind of looks like a wallpaper. But it at least got the dark right. I think it says it here. Here I said symmetrical pattern, repeat dark teal with orange flowers in watercolor style. So that's what I put in on all of them. So here's the Dream one. I feel like the Dall-E one is like maybe a little bit prettier than the Dream one. I don't know. And yeah, it's a little bit more aesthetic, right? And then here's the Midjourney one. And this one kind of blew me away. And that's what Midjourney made with the exact same prompts. So it's almost like you're going from like kind of like a, you know, childish sketch drawing, could almost be made in crayons, still fun, but very basic, to like a more simple, but more elevated look. And then this is just like, oh my God, like, how did they even come up? How did Midjourney come up with this pattern? I thought it was so gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really cool to see the 3 different styles that came out of the same prompt.
And I don't think it's exactly repeatable. I was trying to get it to be, I don't think it is. If I look at the edges, I'd have to play with it a little bit in Photoshop. But I bet that there's a way that you could, you know, say the exact right thing so that you could actually make an infinitely repeatable pattern that could look really cool. You know, it kind of makes me want, like, I hope patterns come back in style and design, and we start seeing cool patterns everywhere.
So one of the other things we noticed in Midjourney was that we're starting to see these like watermarks on some of the images, as though it's like stock images, or maybe it's even images of an artist. So that's interesting.
And they're all over. It's not on just one. There's a bunch of them.
Right. Yeah. When you zoom in, so you have to ask yourself, like, where is this, you know, where's it coming from? Like, you know, how is it actually creating it? I know that there's some cases going on, like there's some cases about artists that are feeling very upset because they have a very specific style, and now these AI generators are using their style and creating new artwork with their style that they've developed. So yeah, that part, I mean, I don't know how that's going to all pan out, because like, it hardly seems fair that somebody created their style and then, you know, an AI generator could come along and just start creating that style that can be repurposed everywhere. So, you know, that intellectual property piece, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this lawsuit that's going on now is probably going to determine the future of some of this artwork.
Well, and the other thing is, though, is that I believe Microsoft either bought or just donated or invested, I mean, huge amount of money into ChatGPT specifically. But regardless of where it's going, AI is attracting huge amounts of money. Like, whatever companies are attracting huge amounts of money, which also means that they're going to be able to fight off lawsuits very heavily. So I'll definitely be interested to see where it goes and what kind of limitations are going to be put on it.
I actually, in the last couple of weeks, I got an email from one of the illustration providers. They have a bunch of illustrators on their site, and they said, like, would you be willing to buy illustration that is created through AI?
Wow.
And I thought, wow, okay, it's happening. It's happening.
Yes.
So companies are inquiring about that. So
that's amazing. That is so incredible. My God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. It's definitely an adjustment in our space. And I think it's going to be an adjustment everywhere.
In the short term, writers and designers, like we can all use this as a tool to help us
Yes.
get to the end product more quickly.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been hearing people are using, things like Jasper and ChatGPT is like, okay, like it helps to get it helps to get down the foundation. And then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
build on that. I'm going to tweak it. And I think even with design, it's kind of similar. It's like, okay, like I could create something myself, come up with my ideas. Now let's see what Midjourney comes up with. And let's see if there's other ideas I didn't think of that Midjourney comes
Right.
up with that maybe I'll be able to use it as a jumping off point for another idea.
As long as people think with it and you leverage themselves with it,
Right.
they're going to be fine.
Yeah. And I think I was thinking about like when I first saw Midjourney, I thought, oh, so all I need to do is say, like, create a print ready file and it'll have it all laid out for me exactly what I need. And I don't, that's not quite the case yet, because first of all you get is like a JPEG that's like
Yeah.
Instagram size. So it's not at that level. I could like say, for example, it's like a beautiful pattern. I could bring it in to Illustrator. I could trace it. But there's still going to be quite a bit of work that's going to need to be done, even to get what we're seeing in Midjourney to like the files that it needs to be, like the files that need to be created for it. Like even if
Right.
we're doing it exactly,
Yeah.
there's still going to be quite a bit of, even if you like that concept, there's going to be a bunch of things you're going to have to do to even realize it. So it's not quite there yet. So I think as a brainstorming tool, it could be really interesting.
I mean, what do we do many times when an artist of any kind needs inspiration? We start looking at others' work. I know I do that, whether it's a website or a logo or any kind of other design element. I start being like, okay, what are other companies doing that are successful? What do I see that I like? Or the client will bring me ideas that they like. Now, rather than referring to other work, you can actually kind of create various mock-ups based on your own ideas of what would be cool. So from that perspective, it might actually enhance originality even more, which is also kind of a cool idea as far as the creative scene.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is that some of the stuff I've seen through Midjourney have been things I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Directions that I haven't seen, packaging or illustration created in that way. So it's going to continue to learn. And I think that's the part that scared me initially, is that like we're seeing the beginning of it, and it's gonna, like, the learning is gonna compound on itself. And it's just, I think we're gonna see things move really quickly.
Yes.
But I don't know how quickly. So we'll see. We'll see. So
I know, that's the thing. And I think that's the big question that everybody has, like from, every level of society, and everyone that's ever seen this is going to have the question of, okay, where is this going to go? What are the use cases that we're not even thinking of right now? And how is our entire infrastructure and community going to be changed based on this kind of, change?
I think that all industries are going to be affected. I mean, whether you're a lawyer and now like legal arguments can be written with ChatGPT, all the different things. There's a bunch of different ways I think it can be used.
So I'm glad we're jumping in as fast as we can so we
Yeah,
can get ahead of it and understand it.
Yeah. And I hope all the other entrepreneurs that watch this will also be, diving in and learning about it, because this is a tool that we need to learn.
Yeah, so true, so true.
All right, on that note, thanks for joining us for episode 2, and we'll see you guys again next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.